this is clearly the rot is really deep, and we will have to go into this rigorously. Only will the BJP show the kind of courage to look at itself in the mirror in all its ugly glory? That is now the question. They want to usurp everything. They want to loot everything, including the idea of the Ram Janmabhoomi, including the movement, even the fight that people put up. Everything they keep on looting, which is why the editorial today sort of joins these dots and points out that this is a looting monster. Today's attack, they know that it's not, they are not making a direct attack on Modi and Shah, but the fact that they say that Ram's donations have been looted, it means that finally the needle of suspicion will turn around and stop at the door of the duo.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. Shiv Sena UBT mouthpiece Samna today has published a stinging and a searing attack on the BJP. They've actually hit out very, very strongly at Home Minister Amit Shah, and they've used the Ram Mandir loot concept, and which is why this attack becomes very, very indicting. Now, on the Ram Temple donation, the party mouthpiece has compared the BJP to Mahmood of Ghazni. It accused the ruling party of orchestrating a Ghazni-style loot by embezzling and stealing gold, silver, and donations from the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya, directly challenging Home Minister Amit Shah. Then, in the same editorial, they've also spoken about defection and poaching, and they've attacked the BJP over the Operation Tiger, where several Shiv Sena UBT members of parliament reportedly split to join the rival Eknath Shinde and BJP alliance. It blasted the BJP for destabilizing the state governments, comparing them to autocratic forces that weaponize central agencies against the opposition. Now, if you remember, just a few days back, Amit Shah was in Kolhapur, and there he spoke about that there is no faction in the Shiv Sena. Now there is just one Shiv Sena, and that is of Eknath Shinde. So that was one thing. Then the other thing which he spoke about, and repeatedly he spoke about conserving the Ambabai temple in Kolhapur. So this is exactly on the two counts on which Samna has responded. It has written critiques about the BJP earlier, but this one really stands out. And this brings us to the question that can the Ram temple loot sentiment, because the devotees feel cheated, can this sentiment reunite Uddhav Thackeray? Can it reignite Uddhav Thackeray to go to the people and tell the people how unfair these betrayer MPs have been? We'll try and discuss this. Joining me this evening is Yogesh Pawar, senior journalist and political commentator. Thank you so much. Yogesh has been tracking the Maharashtra politics very, very closely. Thank you so much for joining on HW News. And my first question to you is, what are your thoughts about this Samna editorial? Does it in a way give a sense of direction to what Uddhav Thackeray is going to do in the coming months? Because this Ram temple loot has become a huge issue, not only in Ayodhya, but across the country. There is a sentiment where the people are feeling cheated. Is this how Uddhav Thackeray is going to tap this sentiment in the coming months when he goes to the people?
Absolutely. This is just today, for all practical purposes, the only comparison that the BJP can, because the BJP calls itself one of the largest political parties in the world. So you can only compare it with the largest, very, very large beast. So if you have to take on the might of a big beast, all you can keep on doing is pricking it from all the sides. 1,000 cuts is what will lead this beast down. So this could be one of the incisive cuts, and this one hurts to the quick because so much political capital was made of Ram. So much so that Ram was reduced to a little boy who Modi ji was in a larger avatar than Ram himself, taking him taking him into the temple. If you notice, remember those posters where Modi ji is holding Ram's hand and Ram is being walked into the temple by Modi. So he's in a sense become larger than Ram himself. So having said that, then what happened if there was so much bhakti, there was so much devotion? Then what happened? Where did all that bhakti suddenly dissipate? And how did such a big loot be allowed to happen? Because there it is not only double engine, but the triple engine Sarkar. So, which means that right down from the chief minister downwards to chief minister upwards, everything is saffron and BJP. So, if that is the case, then what happened? How did something like this? In fact, as we speak, I just a little while ago the SIT has which has been constituted. We are hoping it is going to be a sort of an impartial inquiry, and the SIT will not be pressurized to deliver a sort of a laundry job of a report. But in the first findings that they have given, they have said that they have not only found the necklace around Ram Lala's statue, but there is also, when people were making these offerings, people are sending bricks with Sri Ram written on them. Some of them, there was one devotee who had sent all the way from Mauritius a brick of pure gold, which was sort of paraded around as, how this has struck a chord in Hindus across the world. And there was another one, a trader in Bombay, a Gujarati trader, if I may, who I cannot name because he doesn't want to be named, who had sent a gold brick written Sri Ram with diamonds studded on it. Now, both these items have also gone missing along with that necklace, have also gone missing, and so have the padukas. So the diamonds and the padukas have gone missing. So which means that this is clearly the rot is really deep, and we will have to go into this rigorously. Only will the BJP show the kind of courage to look at itself in the mirror in all its ugly glory? That is now the question, Neelu.
But given the fact, Yogesh, that Shiv Sena played a major role during the Ram Temple movement also. They were almost on the forefront along with the BJP. It wasn't just about the Advani's Rath Yatra, but it was about a big, big movement which was propelled by Shiv Sena then with Balasaheb Thackeray. Now, is the timing quite appropriate for Samna to put out an editorial when they see around this sentiment of the Ram Temple loot, and especially on a day when the SIT has given out its report? Is the timing perfect? And can this become almost like a relaunch pad for Uddhav Thackeray to invigorate his party?
Well, it will the Maharashtrian upper class voter who had gone with the BJP and sort of got what shall we say, drowned in the saffron wave, as it were, the BJP generated, have suddenly realized that, hey, but this wave is taking us in a direction that we don't want to go anymore. So, which is why it is very likely just the right moment for them to bring this up. Like, you're very right that if anybody has dibs on the Ram Janmabhoomi, on the Ram Mandir, it has to be the Shiv Sena which Bal Thackeray founded. Because if you remember, on the day that on December 6, 1992, when the Babri Masjid was pulled down, the Advani had actually gone on record to say that there were some misguided miscreants who did this. Uma Bharti, Murli Manohar Joshi, and Advani were on the back foot. They did not even want to give any statements after that because they were extremely frightened. It is Bal Thackeray who said, "Ye maje Bahadur Shiv Sainik hote." So Bal Thackeray actually owned it, and there were Shiv Sainiks who were arrested. They were beaten up mercilessly. And I'm just saying that this is something that has been now, it is part of record. So if the BJP is trying to, like I said, I was speaking to earlier, they want to usurp everything. They want to loot everything, including the idea of the Ram Janmabhoomi, including the movement, even the fight that people put up, everything they keep on looting, which is why the editorial today sort of joins these dots and points out that this is a looting monster which continuously shows this behavior. It is in their DNA, whether it is MPs, whether it is party ideology, whether it is the idea of Hindutva, everything is continuously taken from somewhere else and then made one's own. So this is something that I think today's editorial establishes very, very clearly. Neelu?
Right. So, in what light do we see this Samna editorial? Is it like a direct attack on Amit Shah? It completely demolishes Amit Shah. And at the same time, Uddhav Thackeray is trying to enthuse his cadres by writing and by tapping onto this Ram Temple loot sentiment.
Well, it is not only a direct. See, obviously, when they attack the BJP, then its whole Hindutva narrative sort of starts trembling. And if that happens, then the RSS begins to find it. The RSS and all the other outfits, whether it's the Vishwa Hindu Parishad or the Bajrang Dal, and all the multiple Durga Vahini or whatever they call them, all these outlets, they begin to feel the jitters because see, unlike Modi and Shah who are stuck in their South Delhi offices, it is these people are having to meet people on a daily basis. So when they go out and people begin to question them, it makes them uncomfortable. So then they have to reach up. And finally the fires reach Modi and Shah's doors. So then which is why today's attack, they know that it's not they are not making a direct attack on Modi and Shah. But the fact that they say that Ram's donations have been looted, it means that finally the needle of suspicion will turn around and stop at the door of the duo. So that is something that they have very cleverly achieved. It's like, I mean, Maharashtra was ruled by Shivaji at one point in time, and that he could take on the might of a very big empire was because of his guerrilla warfare and guerrilla tactics. And I would say politically, today's salvo in the editorial is also a sort of a guerrilla warfare tactic. Neelu?
But what is the official figure? Where does the Uddhav Thackeray party's numerical strength stand right now? Out of 9 MPs, is it officially made? Is it officially pronounced that 6 MPs have gone on the other side? There are also attacks on Sanjay Raut, on the other MPs who are there with Uddhav Thackeray. What is really happening on the official announcement?
Well, they have not made an official announcement. Finally, the MPs will have to come out in the open and say this. So if you notice, the MPs are all kind of, they have, it has come to most of the people who have got most excitedly, the ones who have come out and spoken about this crossover by so many MPs are people from the BJP who want to sort of chest thump and go to town on the fact that so many people have defected and gone to Eknath Shinde. Now, and also the Eknath Shinde faction people have spoken about this. But these MPs themselves, if you notice, every time people have tried to corner them, they have sort of not wanted to stick their necks out and take a categorical stand. If that is the case, then you have to really sort of wonder why that is happening. If I had made up my mind tomorrow that I do not want to be with Neelu on this discussion and I want to be with another channel, then I am going to be able to very openly say, hey, I don't want to talk to Neelu because I don't like the kind of questions she asks. Whatever, I'm just giving a sort of a parallel. So, I should be able to, the fact that if I do not want to come out categorically and say something, which means that I have some hope that I don't want to burn bridges with Neelu and I want to keep that hope alive that she will invite me again to the show. So there is that kind of a thing. So I don't know what is playing out. It is for those MPs. It is your guess is as good as mine.
Are you hinting, Yogesh, that these MPs, they are looking for that window where they might have to come back to Uddhav Thackeray?
So they don't want to burn bridges. Right now, they are all sitting on the wall. They are not jumping this way or the other. And you can see on one side of the wall, Eknath Shinde and his cronies jumping to pull them down, trying to give them a hand. On the other side, Uddhav Thackeray and his cronies doing the same. So it's mirroring behavior on both the sides. But these MPs find for now are ensconced very firmly on that wall from where they are refusing to come take a stand one way or the other. So we don't know how this will play out. I don't want to also take the risk of, and I think neither should you or any political analyst, about sort of clubbing all the 6 together. They have their own reasons, right? Each one of them, we don't know what kind of cases they have against them, how that can be used to arm twist them. We don't know whether despite the cases, they are willing to take on the BJP and its might. It's not basically Shinde, it is the BJP and its might because they have the music to face from their constituencies. And which of them is a little more conscientious and emotionally pliable from the Bal Thackeray family. So all these factors will come into play, and it is finally that is going to help us decipher this dynamic, as it is. It is, how shall we say, right now it's all in such a state of flux that as you put your finger on it, you will notice that it's moving. So, every time you take a stand on a particular individual among these six people who have decided to jump ship, then you will notice that today they are saying something, then they're saying, and then I was speaking to somebody, and then one of his cronies called me and said, no, but I hope you're not going to write about this. What I said was off the record, it was unofficial. Please don't quote him as saying anything right now. And we will come out with an official statement at some point in time. So,
Okay.
which means, you know what that means? It means that they are also testing the waters and they are also unsure. Or maybe the entire money has not reached them, or their cases that were going to be closed, they have not seen them closed. Whatever that quid pro quo is, has not happened. So the deal is not closed yet. Everything is up in the air.
Okay, so that's very interesting. You are saying that the deal hasn't closed. There could be a possibility where the money has not reached them, the cases have not been closed. So does this prospect, or does this uncertainty of the situation puts these six MPs in a limbo? And does it lead to a situation where if we see that the sentiment is going against the BJP, then they will be sitting on the fence and they will not think twice and return back to the Uddhav fold then?
Actually, if you notice that all these anti-BJP parties, which have sort of been for various reasons unhappy with the BJP and sometimes been in alliance with them and now are unhappy, all these parties, they will see in this a sort of a takeaway, and they will go back to the people and enthuse them and saying, okay, they are doing so many scams, okay, so many papers are being leaked, so many bridges are falling, so many airports are being sold to Adani. All that is happening, but along with this now, even Ram is up for sale. So the moment they do that, you realize it's like I said, the BJP has created this saffron Frankenstein in the name of Ram and ridden it to electoral glory. But now they turn around and they suddenly see that their opposition is actually riding the same Frankenstein. And mother of all horrors, they have nowhere to run, because how far can they cannot go into denial and say, no, the Ram temple is not important. Let's talk about other issues. They cannot do that. They will have to, because finally if you take out RAM, then what do you have? Like you take the RAM out of a computer and there is nothing left in it.
No, but also Shiv Sena's main plank has been the Hindutva politics. So they will have to take a stand at this point of time when the sentiment is going against this Ram temple loot. So will this become one of the biggest planks for Uddhav now to spring back again?
Well, actually, it will because all these the regional, you will notice that there's a huge sentiment of, I wouldn't say so much in rural Maharashtra, and so definitely not in the remote interiors, but urban Maharashtra has always sort of had this emotional sympathy for Uddhav for what was done. It is like somebody who, despite making several IVF attempts, is not having a child. So he just visits a nursing home and picks up somebody else's child and takes it home and says, okay, now from today, this is my child. So it's that kind of a thing, that trick that has been played on Uddhav Thackeray. So that is where people are beginning to see this, and willy-nilly, I have not supported his politics of hate, but you cannot take away from the fact that Bal Thackeray's word sort of was Bal Thackeray's word. If he said Mumbai Bandh, it was Mumbai Bandh. There was nothing, which went beyond that. Whether it was Atal Bihari Vajpayee or Advani or Pramod Mahajan, everybody, when they came, they had to sit at his feet and listen to what he said. So, which is why I just feel that, surely some part of that DNA is there in Uddhav Bal Thackeray. Uddhav is a much more, I think he takes more from his mother. He's more genteel, sophisticated, and has, how shall I say, the benefit of the Bombay Scottish education. So, which is why, this whole thing of going completely ruthless and completely naked out to war is not his style. But I think the BJP has left him with little but that choice to make. And unless he decides to go completely naked in all his glory and out on the street, there cannot be any future, because then everything comes to sort of, I don't think the BJP has that kind of, because right now is this time to do this, because people are unhappy, people are angry, people feel fooled, they feel taken for a ride. All that sentiment they have to learn to sort of funnel it and channelize it properly, and then weaponize it to take on this juggernaut. So that I feel is something that the Shiv will have to do.
But there have been allegations against Uddhav and by his own MPs who said that Uddhav hasn't been available in the constituencies. He doesn't come at all to the constituency. There have been problem in the disbursement of funds. So all these complaints. Do you think that now Uddhav Thackeray will be forced to come out of his confines, of Matushri, and like he was seen almost like doing a very sedentary politics? So will this episode now force Uddhav Thackeray to go out on the field?
Let me tell you something. There have been times when people have flown from Mumbai all the way to Delhi to meet Amit Shah or Modi, and they have had to wait and sometimes come back without having that meeting. But from the time the Tamil Nadu farmers were agitating, or the Punjab farmers were agitating, months on end, the Tamil Nadu farmers were in Delhi for about 7 to 8 months, and they did not get one meeting. So I'm just saying that when you point a finger at Uddhav Thackeray for being inaccessible, there was a time when he really faced a very massive health scare. He was, during his duration as chief minister, he had a heart issue and he underwent a procedure for it, and all that happened. So around that time, yes, completely, yes, his accessibility has been an issue. It is something that even Raj Thackeray, when he parted ways with the Sena, brought up as a reason. So this is something that keeps coming up. But I don't think that charge really sticks, because I don't see anybody in the BJP, in the higher up, being eminently accessible like that. That doesn't happen. There you are willing to wait outside their doors and carry their footwear for them. So then that's all right. But here you want to turn around and act all sanctimonious. So I'm just saying that, what is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. It cannot be work one way in one way and one way the other way. So it's not going to be like that.
What do you think is going to be the next step for Uddhav Thackeray, Yogesh?
Then we will have to wait and watch. But I am hoping and praying that better sense prevails and he realizes that it is time to go back to the old template and make this a grassroots organization where the Shakha was actually driving the party. The local Shakha Pramukh was the main leader. He was driving the party. They ran kangaroo courts. They took care of all smaller disputes. Never went to police stations. People went to the Shakhas. They got the problems resolved there. The Shakha Pramukh intervened when there was any kind of an issue. That is where everybody gathered to decide what way to protest, what way to mobilize. All that is needing it will be needed to be done again and again. It cannot, like I said that Uddhav Thackeray is far too genteel and sophisticated. Yeah, but he will have to learn to speak the language on the street like his father and go back to that style of being completely ruthless. So that, I think, is the only way ahead for him. Like I said, they have reached rock bottom. From here, things can only get better, and that hope should keep him going, because he shouldn't stop now. And if not him, even others should have to.
People from the BJP and from the Shinde camp say that this is the end of the road for Uddhav Thackeray. Do you also agree with this narrative?
In politics, the end is never the end till we, breathe your last. You don't know. Even when somebody breathes their last, then even after that also things go on in the name of photographs. You, as someone who's followed Indian politics, knows how these things play out. So sometimes the halo of that parties is much more larger, and this is not a party which is Johnny come latelys who have come together now in the 90s and put together a party. Like I said, in that conversation on the phone before, when we were planning this discussion, I mean, the party is as old as me. I was born in 1969, and so was the party. So we have to go back to that. If you give me a minute, I'm going to quickly recount something that Bal Thackeray did, so that you will
Yes,
understand what
please
that
do.
sort of
Yeah.
strategy is. What had happened is, Bal Thackeray had parted ways with his, means he had got into a problem with his father, because his father was a socialist, Prabodhan Kar Thackeray, and he ran this magazine called Marmik. And then when Bal Thackeray and R.K. Lakshman, the great cartoonist, were both together at the Free Press Journalist Cartoonist, at that point in time, R.K. Lakshman got a raise, a sort of a promotion, and which Bal Thackeray did not get. So he felt very bad, and he suddenly realized that he felt in his head that this had been done to him because he was Maharashtrian and R.K. Lakshman was a South Indian, and which is why the top bosses who were South Indian had favored his colleague. That sort of set him off, and when he came home, he told his father finally. Father was wanted him to take on the Marmik magazine, but he said, I will take it on if you let me take it on my own without any interference from you. And when he took it on, from the first day he went and he removed all the stupid literary stuff. He called it stupid. All the beautiful literature, poetry, all those pieces, he threw them out. He said, we don't want anything like this. Then slowly he said, we will not have these pieces, that piece, anything social, anything related to development, nothing he wanted. So ultimately, the editorial staff said, what will you print on those blank pages now that have come up? He even stopped taking ads in so many pages. Can you imagine to do something like this? And guess what he said? He would send the reporters out into the field, go to the railways, go to the postal department, go to the police, go to the telegraph department, and he would say, get a list of all the officials. And he would just print a list of the officials' page. Imagine 15, 20 pages of a list. Okay. And then they would always be, if there would be like no Maharashtrians, they would be all um, largely South Indian in that list. And then he called it, he said, Vatsani Thanda Basa. He's saying, read this and sit quietly. He's saying, you are, and he said, if you should be ashamed that you drunk the blood of a Marathi mother and live in the land of Shivaji, and others are coming and ruling on you. And look at what you've reduced our state to. You've been reduced to servants. And he would end that list with this. And imagine he ran this for months on end. So much so that then the post office had to start sending sackloads of the angry mail that he was getting in response to the Sena Bhavan. Entire rooms were filled with stacks of such mails, because people, all the Maharashtrian Manus who were reading this were very, very angry. Then he changed the title. He said, Vatsa ani Zageva. So read and awaken. And then after running that for a few months, now he realized
Interesting.
that things had reached boiling point. Then he said that if you feel angry and angered by what has happened, then on Dashera, gather at Shivaji Park. And he had his first rally, and there was a thundering presence of people who had come from all over. Yeah, this included my dad then. Okay, so they had gone from all over to attend that rally. They were there. They heard him, and he built it into a movement. And that's how the Shiv Sena came into being. So I'm just saying, do you realize what I'm saying in the story is not just sort of
Yeah.
romanticizing this whole notion, but I'm saying how you build a grassroots movement. Uddhav has lessons right there. He doesn't need to go outside and take lessons. His father's example is there for him to go by. So he will have to do that. He will have to do that.
Yeah, but very interesting anecdote. I'm sure the viewers will enjoy it. But yes, the Samna editorial has brought us all to the question that can this Ram temple loot sentiment invigorate Uddhav Thackeray? That is the million-dollar question. It attacks Amit Shah. It attacks Amit Shah on the Ram Temple loot. It attacks Amit Shah on defection and poaching. But the larger question is that is this Samna editorial and also an indication as to in which direction will Uddhav go in the coming weeks and months? Thank you so much, Yogesh. It was a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Neelu. Thank you.